Okay, this is the last Tuesday of the season.
Don't say that. We still have that good one.
Mark said yay.
Yeah.
Was that a yay? Thank God it's over?
Something like that.
Reflecting on our time.
It was a yay, he won. Until Saturday.
So, I don't know, most of you probably, if you're on Facebook, I'm not sure how many of you like my book page, but I post my columns there, and then every other week I post an old column, something I had published in the past, and the one I published this past Sunday had a picture with it, and every time I grab a picture, nobody's ever complained, so I guess it's okay. Sometimes I use pictures of the group. Many of you have graced the after the last PR page. But the quote on the post from last Sunday was, "The principles of success are trustworthy." And the story in the column basically told about my running life in 1985, which was very frustrating. 1984 was probably my best overall year ever. The performances were, many of them were breakthrough. I was running times in some distances that I never duplicated again. So I thought 1985 was going to be another great year. It wasn't. And for some reason, I just couldn't match the times that I was running the year before. Every year at that time, I used a race called the Constellation 10K. You remember that race?
Sure. Running it several times.
So it was sort of an out. What do you remember the streets? Was it out
Out to
St.
Fort
Paul?
McHenry. Yeah.
No, that's the old one.
I went the old. That's how old I am.
It went like out St. Paul and in Charge or Charles or vice
Never.
versa.
They were still using it.
Yeah.
So it was basically 5K out, 5K back on different streets. Memorial Day weekend. So it was always hot. I needed a coach because I picked this awful race in really always hot conditions, thinking I was going to run a great time. And I ran some good times there. But in 1985, my time was more than a minute slower than it was the year before. And I really should have packed it in. I mean, things weren't going well. But instead, if I had a coach, I wouldn't have, I'm sure. But I entered another race. That race just happened to be a midnight race in Westminster. It was one of the major races at the time. And it was a 5-mile race right in town. And for some reason, I felt fantastic. My legs were light, I felt smooth. By the time the race was halfway over, it was just me and the motorcycle, which was a fantastic feeling. Now, the reason I'm telling the story now and the reason I posted that story last Sunday is to reassure you the elements of the principles of success are trustworthy, right? If you do the right things, good things happen to you. So now, this week, as we're going into this final race, is the time for you to trust what we've done together. Don't second guess it. Don't focus on the things that you think are causing you limitations. Focus on all the good things. Think about your best days, the best days that you've had over the last 4 or 5 months. You've all had good days. And you've worked hard for them, right? So now's the time to enjoy it, to trust where you are, and to do your best on Saturday, knowing that it's been a process, not an event. Remember, no matter what happens on Saturday, this whole thing is a process. the very first thing, or one of the first things I said to you when we met in January, is accept where you are. Remember that? And no matter where you were at the time, I wanted you to accept it. And you need to do that now too, right? Some of you have had great journeys. Some of you have had struggles. Whatever it is, don't fight it. Accept it and still do the best you can on Saturday. You know, again, not second guessing yourself. All right, it's been fun. Can't wait for Saturday.